Hey guys, this is Zlewikk and welcome back to our series of videos about EU5 Dev Diaries called Tinto Talks. Last week we discussed about rebels. Today it's time for a deeper discussion about diplomacy, how do you handle it, how diplomats work and what kind of actions you can take against other countries. Most importantly, the diplomatic system of EU5 will be a mix of EU4, and I would say mainly EU4, Imperator Rome, and Victoria too. Diplomatic actions can be taken in a country screen, just like you could do in EU4, or how they explain it in the second part here, it sounds like a macro builder action that you could also take in EU4. So, I want an alliance. Show me all countries in the world that would like to take that alliance with me. Let's start with the diplomats. They're gonna work completely different compared to EU4, where you have quantity of diplomats, you had envoy travel time, how much time they took to go to a specific country. And here they're treating diplomats as your diplomatic corps that have first of all a limit that is coming from your country level. Like for example, Kingdom gives you +1, default is free, and you can get more from different advances and policies. But at the same time, when you do specific diplomatic action, you take some of these diplomats, and it's not gonna, like after 30 days, after 5 days, after a month, you're gonna regain it. You're gonna keep regaining it with a specific speed, back up to 4. So you see that, for example, base, it's recovering 0.1 a month, but then for the different modifiers, you can get more of it or less of it, because some actions will be taking your diplomats each month, like annexing countries, building a spy network, or improving relations with another country. So as they're saying, every diplomatic action you do requires at least one diplomat, and while they are a renewable resource, you may need to ration them. Opinions will work pretty much like in EU4, so it's between -200 and +200, and it's a two-way opinion, so it's my opinion of Aragon and Aragon opinion of me, for example. That opinion will be impacted by many things, including cultures, court languages, religions, recent conflicts, AE, etc. So, besides the typical stuff, just like in EU4, you also have some temporary impacts that will be dropping down. Like just in this case, a recent conflict is -40 and is dropping down 3 yearly. As they're saying, there are the most direct ways to improve opinion of the other country, and same as in EU4, there's improved relation, which is using monthly diplomatic actions to improve the target's country opinion of you over time, and send gifts, which for money improves the opinion immediately. There will be also trust system, similar to EU4, which represent how likely one country finds it that another country will act honorably towards them. Whether friend or foe, trust is a crucial component in forging lasting agreements. Trust is hard to get and easy to lose. And that's something different than in EU4, because in EU4 you have to carry favors and exchange favors for trust. In this case, you'll be able to send a diplomat directly to profess trust, but that will cost your diplomatic reputation for some time. This is one of the big things, and it was already mentioned a couple of Dev Diaries ago, but I wanted to say it again. This is big. This is a response for people saying that EU5 will be a bare bones game that will take 10 bazillion DLCs to be playable and have flavor. Just take a look. Favors. It was added to EU4 in 2021. 7 years into the game lifetime, and 31 patches into the game's lifetime, because it was 1.31 patch. Only 6 patches ago, favor system was added. It will be again in game in a very similar manner to how it worked in EU4. Obviously, we'll be having a spy network, which is infiltration of the country, and you can use that spy network. Will give you some modifiers, like you get less AE on that specific country because of your spy network. Same as like in EU4, it will also give you siege ability on their lands. So you see a base value of spy network you're gaining on a country is 1, then it's impacted by your spy network construction modifier and counter-espionage of the target country. Diplomatic reputation will be also in game, very similar manner like in EU4. That can be increased by your prestige, specific advances, values of the country, and decreased by your aggressive expansion. So AI's countries look very much at diplomatic reputation when it comes to accepting diplomatic offers. Something very new compared to EU4 is your diplomatic range. It was very broad and you could pretty much do it on any country that you've seen, maybe except some specific actions like knowledge sharing, you had limited range. But in EU5, the range will be actually limited and will be working similar, as they say, to Imperator, where you can't just do diplomacy with every country on the map. Now, this is something that matters and is based primarily on advances and the rank of the country. Diplomatic range limits the physical distance our diplomats can travel to conduct diplomacy. The distance to be traveled is from one capital to the other. And I've seen already some posts on Twitter that the fact that Mamluks and Golden Horde are not accessible for Aragon is a bug. Rival system will be also different compared to EU4. Remember, in EU4 you could rival nations with a similar strength to you, more or less. In case of Project Ceasar, there will be more limitations to it. So first of all, the selection of rivals is less opaque and follows a few simple rules. A valid rival is someone within a geographical area that is of similar or higher rank, or shares a culture group. The geographical area for an empire is the same continent or adjacent subcontinent, while for a country that is not an empire, it will be the same area as your country or adjacent province definition. Of course, you can always rival someone that has declared you as a rival. Then, in EU4, not picking rivals was pretty much only impacting your power projection. In case of EU5, it will be giving you more AE for your diplomatic actions, and your spy network will be much weaker. There will be no cooldown replacing the rivals. Great, that's pure cancer in EU4. Instead, you lose stability. You'll be able to fabricate claims on your rivals, and obviously these rivals will be blocking you from having any alliances, and countries that will be sharing rivals will have a high opinion of each other, just like in EU4. So here's, for example, a map of possible rivals at the start for Aragon. So it's Naples, Tunis, Morocco, Portugal, Castile and France. So a couple of dev diaries ago they showed us how diplomatic capacity will work. Well, it did get some rework, and as they are saying, they changed the diplomatic relations slot system to become a diplomatic capacity system instead, where the cost of an alliance depends on the power of the ally, and similarly subjects cost different things depending on their type and size. So for example, Aragon starts the game with a Majorca vassal, which takes over half of the capacity, 1.7 from 3.1, and the capacity is coming from base, which is 1, being a kingdom is another 2, and then you see policies and I'm pretty sure advances will be also increasing that over time. So early on, we'll not have much of capacity. Alright, let's take a look at the kind of the actions that we'll be able to do with our diplomats. So starting with friendly actions. This is just a few examples though, because there will be many more in the game itself. And these are just the general actions, while in the future they will show us flavor actions for specific countries, cultures, religions, etc. So there's a defensive league, like in Imperator owns alliance, but it's only defensive. Guaranteeing a country, but it's also two-way interaction now, because you'll be able to ask a bigger country to guarantee you, which wasn't possible in EU4. That's a huge improvement for gameplay. You can propose a ruler. So if you have adults in your dynasty that are not your current ruler, you can propose that you become the ruler of another monarchy only if they were in a regency without any valid heir. So like, for example, 17th century action where Commonwealth and the Vazas were proposed to get Władysław Vaza on the throne of Moscow at the time. Sharing maps. And again, that's two ways. You can ask for share maps and you can share maps with someone. There's an example of spending favors to get something out of another country, like asking them to stop privateering your trade node. Obviously, there will be hostile actions like intervening in a war, isolating from allies, which will be just breaking alliance, and sending an insult, threatening a war, just like in EU4. Obviously, covert actions that will cost your spy network, corrupting officials, which reduce their effectiveness in the cabinet, infiltrate administration to lift fog of war. Hopefully it's gonna also be tech limited like in EU4. Stealing maps or supporting rebels. And finally some economic actions that include, some of them were mentioned already, so like blocking building in a country, So most importantly, countries without lands will not be able to build buildings in your country, like for example Fulger Bank embargoing a nation, which will reduce market attraction of their markets in your locations, but also block their traders from your country, and requesting a loan, not only them sharing a loan proposal for us, but requesting a loan, which is something that you can do with a banking country, for example. Then we've got access actions, same to us in EU4, so military access and free basing rights, and there'll be new special type of military access that will be paid, and new access that wasn't in EU4, and that's a nice improvement, because I was very missed in EU4, is food access. Because now, if you have access and you're traveling through someone's lands in EU4, you're not taking anything from these lands. And here you'll be able to get food access, so your army will not die to attrition in their lands. This is it for today's Dev Diary, but obviously let's take a look at the comment section, feedback from the users, and how Johan is replying to them, because there's usually a lot of content there. First of all, Sealand is asking if one diplomat could be doing multiple actions in a specific country, like I'm sending a diplomat to France, can't I just both build spy network and improve relations and do something else? And Johan's saying, one diplomat, one action. Somebody is summarizing that this whole diplomatic capacity is pretty much diplomatic mana, and it sounds about right. There will be bi-territory diplomatic action. Apparently there will be a system that will make alliances more short-lived compared to EU4, but they're saying the system is not ready yet, so they're not showing it. Having point 3 of a diplomat feels just so wrong. Maybe just use the term diplomatic power or diplomatic ability. And Johan's saying, yeah, it's a bit weird, but it's hard to find a good name. Is there a possibility to have a non-aggression treaty? It's not designed yet, but could be doable. Will custom nations be a thing? Not designed for it yet. So you can go over your diplomatic capacity in exchange for some penalties. Yes, not super nice. So you see an example of Aragon going over their diplo capacity 6 out of 3. Alliance of Portugal costs them 3, Majorca Varsal costs them 1.6, Navarre is 1, Vienna is half. And being 100% of our capacity is 0.3 monthly prestige lost, minus 100 of loyalty of subjects, plus 3% of AE, so that's not much, but minus 6 diplo rep is definitely gonna hurt you. Oh, that's what I was mentioning. How come Aragon has diplomatic range all the way to Russia, but the Mamluks are out of range? What's going on here? We found out why. The argument is, if capital is not a port, then it's straight distance between port and capital, which is an instant calculation, and then we have the distance between all seasons cached. The slight problem with the Mamluks is that the closest port for Cairo is Suez, so the algorithm goes, oh, we have to go all around Africa, and the closest port to the Golden Ore is on the Caspian Sea, so I can't reach anywhere. So that's why both Golden Ore and Mamluks are out of diplomatic range for Aragon, but they will fix it. Can we increase the diplomatic corp by increasing the spending on it? You can increase your diplomatic capacity by spending money. There's an entire expense slider for it. So you see, with a maintenance of 33%, again, diplomatic capacity 33%. And cost a lot of money. Okay, I think that's gonna be it for today. A very interesting Dev Diary. A lot of stuff is taken from the other games, especially EU4, and especially stuff that work there, but some crucial things are reworked to make it, I think, more interesting than just diplomatic slots. Let me know what you think, and as usual, subscribe to the channel to get notified about the next Tinto Talks. Bye!